Hi everybody, welcome to Hot Damn Cooking with Timmy. Today we're making chicken tikka masala. It's a great Indian dish. I really fell in love with it a few years ago. I've tried a lot of recipes. They're all pretty good. I've honed it down to my special little process here. Again, this is my version of tikka masala. It's a tough word for me to say. So we're going to start out with, we got the juice of 1 lemon. You're going to need a cup of plain yogurt. I've got that in the bowl already. So I've got the juice of 1 lemon, a cup of plain yogurt. Then I've got 6 cloves of garlic minced up. Get all that in there. I've got a tablespoon of ginger. I got 1.5 teaspoons of garam masala. I got a teaspoon of turmeric. That's fresh. Your best bet with that, if you're going fresh, go ahead and grate it. Makes it much easier. I got a teaspoon of ground cumin. 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. Half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Got a teaspoon of ground curry. And I've got 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now I've got 2 chicken breasts here that are filleted out, butterflied, they're pounded out, and then they're cut into chunks. I'm going to add that. We're going to stir this around. This is going to be the marinade. It's going to soak for, in this case, it's going to be our Sunday lunch. So Saturday night, about 7 o'clock, and we're going to eat around 12 o'clock tomorrow. So it's gonna marinate about 15 hours. All right, come and take a look. So that's what your marinade's going to look like. That's what your chicken's going to look like. And again, you can go up to 24 hours with that. Okay, now what you're going to need for the sauce, you're going to need 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 large onion finely chopped, 1.5 tablespoons of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of grated ginger, 1.5 teaspoons of garam masala, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 16 ounces of tomato puree, 1 1/4 cup of heavy cream, 1 teaspoon of smoked chili powder, and you might need a couple tablespoons of water to thin it out, but you won't know that till the end to see if you need to thin it out. Okay, so we'll be back in about 15 hours. 2 quick little things. You're going to make some rice because this is served over rice. Probably could use quinoa. I was thinking about that, but I didn't have any quinoa, so it's traditionally put over rice, so we're going to put it over rice. Now, the other thing is, this is a pretty spicy dish, and as you guys know, I like spice. So if you don't like spice, take out the cayenne pepper, take out the chili pepper in the sauce, and that should be it. Welcome back, everybody. It's been 16.5 hours. We kind of got a late start today. I took the chicken out. Let me come on over and show you what that looks like. So it's really marinated really well overnight. And I'm gonna cook this off on the grill. Now you can pan fry it, but better than pan frying it if you don't have a grill, put it on your broiler because you want to char it a little bit. We're not gonna cook it fully through. We're just gonna get a char on it and set it aside because it is gonna cook in the sauce. So let me just go over what we're gonna do now. I'm preheating the pan. I've got my 2 tablespoons of olive oil in there and my 2 tablespoons of butter in there, and it's melting down. I could probably turn that up now. I got my grill set for 375. That's going to start smoking in a second. So the first things we're going to do is we're going to put in the onion and start to saute that. I'm going to put in the the ginger with it, and I'm going to put the garlic in next. Now after that, something's changed since I saw you last. I decided to put a bell pepper in. I did this with the food processor and I added about 2 to 3 ounces of water. This is going to do a couple of things. It's going to sweeten it just a tiny bit. It's going to add to the color, and it's also going to help thin out the sauce because I'm a little worried the sauce is going to be a little thick. All right. So this is still melting down, so I'm going to start putting the meat on the grill. That grill is hot. But again, for our purposes, we're just going to char it and take it off. So you kind of want it single file, single level. Oh, baby. Hot damn cooking with Timmy. All right. All right, so almost perfect timing. My butter's melted down. I'm going to go ahead and put my onion in. Put my ginger in. I'll give that a little bit of a stir. I'm going to let that cook for a couple minutes before I add the garlic. Okay, so all right, that's cooking well. Come on over here so you can see the onion. So it's just cooking down. I'm going to wait a minute or two to add the garlic. Okay, so it's been a minute. I'm going to add my garlic now. And I'll let this cook down for a minute or so. Altogether, the sauteing part's going to be about 5 minutes. You don't want it to burn it in any way, so if it starts getting really too hot, turn down the heat. In fact, I'm going to turn mine down right now. So what's cool is, so the onion I minced up really good, right? But it's still, you know, it's still like chunk size, right? So when I put the pepper in there with the water, after the onions have cooked a little bit, it'll diminish the onions down. So we'll have the onion flavor, but we won't have the texture of the onion. We're going to flip the chicken. And again, we're not looking to cook it perfectly. We're just looking for some grill marks, some char. My grill is a little too crowded. It's a small grill. I'll tell you, you guys should smell the kitchen right now. When you guys try this at home, right about right now, it smells so good. And everything looks so tasty. Holy cow. All right, back to this. I'm going to give this another stir. Check it out. All right, the onion is softening up pretty good. I'm going to let it go about another 30 seconds to a minute. It's cooking down, but it's not cooking down too fast where it's going to burn or anything like that. We're looking good. At this point, in that next minute, I'm going to mix all my spices. At this point, you're going to mix the spices. So you got 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin. You got 1.5 teaspoons of garam masala. That's so hard for me to say. I don't know why. All right. Then I got my 1 teaspoon of turmeric or turmeric, however you'd like to say it. 1 teaspoon of coriander. I've got my smoked chili powder, 1 teaspoon. I've got 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. I've got 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. Don't worry about the sodium. It's the least amount of sodium of all the salts. Just going to whisk this around. You see, that's just my spices. And I'll be adding the spices, the cream, and the tomato in a few minutes. I want to add my pepper first. All right, so time for the bell pepper. And again, it's going to add just a tiny bit of moisture and a tiny bit of color and just a little bit of sweetness to this. So now I can let this cook down just a little bit longer. That'll go for a couple minutes. I will check the chicken again. There's kind of a glare in here. It's hard to see. Well, all right, so there's a couple pieces I can put on there, and that'll kind of free up my grill. Like I said, my grill's pretty busy right now. It's overloaded. So you see it, nice little char marks on it and stuff. And it'll cook longer in the sauce. So don't worry if you think the chicken's not done. It doesn't have to be done at this point. It's got to be charred. All right, so I'm freeing up some space for my grill. It's not as overloaded now. Cook a little faster. All right, so the pepper, the onions, all the vegetables are cooking down pretty good right now. I think I'm going to let it go about another minute before I add the sauce. Okay, so you see down there now the consistency of this? It's time to add my spices, the sauce, the heavy cream. So I'm going to add this, well, this is tomato puree. It's 16 ounces of tomato puree. I'll add my spices. I'm going to give that a good stir. This dish has so many different ingredients in it. It's such a great smell, aroma. Okay, and a cup and a quarter of heavy cream. Stir that around real good. Okay, so with this, it's just a tiny bit darker than I anticipated, so I'm going to add about another ounce or two of heavy cream. I'm looking for the right color. And again, it kind of depends on the tomato puree, what brand you bought, or how dark it is, so. But for a Tikka masala, that's a nice color right there. Okay, so I'm just going to cover that up and let it cook for a little while. Okay, so the chicken is starting to cook pretty good. There's another piece that can come off. They're different sizes, so they're gonna, all the cuts aren't uniform, so they're different sizes, so they're gonna cook at different times. They're all gonna be done at different times. Just be patient, and the grill will cook them. I am gonna turn up the grill just a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna take the chicken off. Set that aside. Chicken feels so tender. That yogurt and the lemon mixture really tenderized the chicken really good. It looks good. Smells phenomenal. Can't wait to eat it. At this point, we'll check this one last time. I'm going to let this cook down for about 20 minutes. At a simmer. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes. The sauce is really smelling great. I'm going to add the chicken now. Probably cook it for like 5-10 minutes. It's really getting done quick. This dish comes together pretty quick. The prep for it, measuring everything out, takes a little while. And I want to just put out there a special thank you to Jason K. He actually inspired me to do this dish. He put a thing on Facebook about his time in India. So when I read that, it just started making me think of Indian food, and Tikka Masala is one of my favorites. So thanks, Jay. So I got my chicken in there. I'm going to let it, I'm going to cover it up, give it a good stir, check it every couple minutes, let it cook for about another 5-10 minutes. Now, I've got naan bread. Naan bread, I'm going to heat up at 350 for about 5-10 minutes. The only thing you're doing is heating it through. This meal goes great with naan bread. Also, we're going to serve it over rice. But I want you to know that you have some options. You could do the cauliflower rice. Again, thanks, Jay. You could do regular white rice. You could do brown rice. You could do quinoa. Last time I made it with quinoa. It was excellent. So you have a lot of choices. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. Our meal's done. My rice is done. Come on in and take a look at that. It's beautiful. It's aromatic. It looks nice. It's going to be filling. So I've got my rice. We'll just plate this up. We'll be right back and have a tasting.
Okay, Grandpa, it's the moment of truth. It's time for the tasting.
All right. I'm pretty excited. It smells good. Wow. It's incredible. It's spicy at the end. It's just so flavorful. I hope everybody tries it. What do you think, Mary?
Oh, wow, that's good. Delicious.
Hot Damn Cooking with Timmy. Thank you for watching Hot Damn Cooking with Timmy. Please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. It's the little red button. Thank you.